Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I say that because I know that there are persons listening to us from all over the world. Never know which part of the globe my listeners are from, be it on their favorite podcast platform or listening, watching on YouTube or other video platform. Welcome to Canute Exploration, your topic in a podcast. I am Dr. Canute White. I have a very special guest today, but guess how this will work? That guest will not be in the virtual studio with me, but I'll be calling that guest. Hey, she has a lot to say. She was she was raped. She will tell you that it's not rape, but the media says it's rape. But let's say that for now. She was raped and become a mother at age 11. In order to ensure that our child is properly taken care of, the basic necessities, that young Jamaican female has to get involved in prostitution, a means to an end. She had done that for approximately 10 years. She will tell you that the 19-year-old who had raped her then, he and his family would not take care of the child, or she, and hence she had to do what she had to do, as to do what she had to do in order to ensure that her child is good. She had done what many rape victims would not have done: carry the child. And today, at age 30, this is October 2021. At age 30, she sees the child as an inspiration to her and had created a vision in her head to assist other rape victims. And she's saying to them, hey, don't abort the child. Naturally, she's pro life. Don't abort the child. Carry your child, bring the child to my institution, the one that she intends to set up. And she'd like your support with that institution as well. It's no other than Cassandra Terrelonge. I will give her a call and let us talk about the situation that she is having and the challenges that she had gone through to ensure that her child is properly fed. Let me see if I can get in touch with Cassandra and so that we can have a talk with her. Cassandra has a lot to tell. Her story is a story that should empower and inspire others. Cassandra is going to talk to me via the telephone. She is in Jamaica, Spanish Town, Jamaica. While I wait on Cassandra to pick up. Hey Cassandra, how you doing? You're on here really. Sorry about the challenges that we're having. So now we're going to talk to you. Tell me, who is Cassandra?
Cassandra is just an ordinary person who gets up daily and chooses to do extraordinary things. Makes no excuse, but chooses to push past her obstacles, her challenges, her struggles, and to always see the good in whatever she's going through.
Cool. I love that. I love that. Hey Cassandra, I love the vibe that you bring to humanity. And I just want to ask you though, your childhood before 10, your childhood before the incident. Tell us a bit about that childhood. Forget the incident for now. What your childhood was like before that.
Always curious and always getting myself into trouble because I'm a curious child from the womb. So I'm always curious about everything else that an adult would be doing. So I'm never really interested in what kids should be interested in. I always want to know what it is to cook, to care for persons. That's just always me. Wherever the adults were and whatever they were doing, that would be me. Wanting to cook when I should be playing, wanting to clean, just wanting to do adult stuff.
Hey.
But
Go ahead.
it was enjoyable. I started to happen.
Yeah, I understand that. All right, that childhood before the incident, what type of message would that childhood have? What type of inspirational message that childhood before the incident have?
As I said, it just curious,
Mhm.
always up and about, getting myself into children trouble. 'Cause you know that's kids overall.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Cool. I love that, Cassandra. Okay, now we are going to talk the meat of the matter. What happened? What happened during, I think it was age 10 around that time? What happened?
11.
Yeah, what happened?
Okay, age 11.
Age 11, what happened?
Mommy would leave us with grandma to be at home because she had to work. So she stopped taking us to work with us because of personal reason and issue with her boss. So we started staying home. But we wouldn't stay in the yard. When we come home from school, I would always be next door by our uncle because she wouldn't have the cable television or stuff to keep us in the yard. So we'd always be next door by uncle.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I wasn't really aware of his motive, but I was big in body. I looked extremely mature. And most persons thought I was 15, 16 at the time. But anyway, there was this young man, because he has tenants, that moved in with his sister. Always working, he was always focused, and I always admired that about him. Never used to smoke, but always reading. But anyway, we saw that in him, but as a child, still coming around my uncle, I have no intention, nothing up my sleeve, because I don't even know what that is. Lo and behold, I started going church with his sister, and he and my mommy became friends. So he was like a brother to the family. One very night now, my uncle asked me to do something for him.
Yeah.
Remember, this is my uncle, I trust him. So if he said to me, go around the back and get this out of that room, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
When I got to the room now, I saw the door closed behind me, but I thought that he was joking. And then I hear, that's my baby father's voice, say, I'm in here, and him said, don't make no noise.
Okay.
And I was like giggling, honestly, and I was like, what are you doing in here? Where you are and my uncle up to? Anyway, I wasn't taking it serious, but he started touching me, and I was like, no. And my uncle was actually outside the door, looking over the top of the door. And I hear him say to me, my uncle, Pat, move from there and stop people over the door. So I was like, what are you up to? And he must say, no bother with the nice. A long time them tell me, say you like me. And I said, what? But anyway, I'm not going to tell any lie on him. I did not scream. But I said to him, no. Anyway, he proceeded and do what he was up to. And when he was through, I came out and my uncle was like, they're laughing. Now, in my mind, I felt like I did something wrong.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like in disbelief. Anyway, knowing my mother, I wouldn't say anything to her because it would be loads of cussing and excitement, and I didn't want that.
Yeah.
So I came up to the house, and my grandmother was here. My mommy didn't get home, and I showered, but I was crying. I really didn't understand what was taking place, to be honest. And I'm telling you, I didn't understand it until when they found out I was pregnant.
Yeah.
When they found out I was pregnant, now that's when like reality hit instantly. My mindset changed. I become an adult, and then the cursing start. And if you know ghetto mentality any at all, I was put down long before I even got pregnant.
Yeah.
The people them used to say that I was sexually active, whatever the case might be, and I'm going to get pregnant. And lo and behold, it did happen. So when all of that happened now, I didn't want anybody to know.
Yeah.
I was so ashamed. I was crying. My mommy blood pressure went up. She passed out.
Yeah.
My stepfather went and told my very same uncle. And he went and broadcast it to the entire neighborhood. So even if my mommy would even think of allowing the abortion because of the embarrassment it came with, everybody already knew.
Okay. So that is why the abortion wasn't done.
I did not want to do it anyway.
Okay.
I didn't want to do it. Because she mentioned it to me, so she started talking to me in the presence of my stepdad. And he was highly educated because he was an ex-police officer in the military force in America. So I'm telling you, he's extremely educated.
Yeah.
And he's very manipulative also because he's educated. My mommy is not. So he twists her around his finger. And I used to watch those things as a child.
Okay.
And I started feeling resentment towards him. And from the moment he mentioned abortion and we can go back to being a family and pretend as if this never happened, lo and behold, you just let everybody know all that is taking place inside of our home, right?
Yeah.
How is it that I'm going to trust you to say anything to me? Anyway, I resented him. Dismissed what he was saying. So my mother said, let me think about this first. And I said to her, she started talking to me one hour. I said, Mommy, I don't want to do this. For some specific reason, I feel in love with what's going on inside of me. I don't understand it. And I'm sorry for this, but I don't want to do this. I think I'm going to die.
Yeah.
At 11-year-old, she started. She got upset, I'm not going to lie. And she cursed, but then she calmed down. All right. Then when my stepdad see that, okay, then she went back to him and said, listen, I'm not going to allow her to do this. I have 7 of them and I did not abort not one of them. So I'm not going to let her do this. It's her choice. She said she wants to bring the baby. Let's see how it goes. He got real upset.
Yeah.
And he said, okay then. Since she's a woman and she decides she don't want to do an abortion, I'm not going to feed her. I'm not going to send her to school anymore. She can't eat anything I provide, and the list goes on.
Yeah. Yeah.
They called my baby father now and his sister because he was in her care, living with her. And she said that he's not ready for a child as yet, so the best option is to abort it, and she's not going to shoulder any responsibility because she didn't send him to do that, and you name it. So my mother and her got into it at the gate, and my mother run them and offered to wet them up with some water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So from there on, it was like constant stress because every single day my stepdad go out and come in, he would stress my mom would stress me. I wouldn't eat, I would just sit down daily crying till I got down so slim.
I have. Go ahead.
Go on.
I have a
One
two.
day, like,
You go on, Cassandra.
one day, like reality hit her, and she turned and she said to him, why is it that it's my child and it's your stepdaughter and you're taking it so personal? What should I do? Kill her? The baby is already there. There's nothing that we can do about it. She do not want to abort this baby. And I don't want to force her to do something I end up lose my child in the process.
Yeah. You're watching, you're listening to Canute Exploration, your topic in the podcast. I'm Dr. Canute White. I'm talking to Cassandra Terrelonge out there in Spanish Town, Jamaica. She was, I would say, raped, and the rape carry a child, and but that didn't stop Cassandra from being inspired and continue to tell her story. Cassandra, I heard you saying that the media says it's rape. Why wouldn't you call it? Why wouldn't you call it rape? And the media said something about traumatic conception. Talk to us about not calling it rape and traumatic conception.
Because in reality, according to the law, well, according to culture, rape would be something held at a gunpoint then and forceful. That's my understanding of rape. But I know according to the law, once I'm underage, at a certain age, I'm not able to give consent. So it would be considered rape. And then when you paint the stigma that it's rape, then my son is a product of rape.
Okay.
And that's not the stigma that I want to be attached to him.
Yeah. And I understand that and certainly do. But is it affecting your son now? Let me ask you that.
No.
Okay, cool.
Because I ensure that he's lacking nothing, especially love.
No, I mean, Cassandra, is the whole concept of you being in the media and so, is it affecting your son now?
No, because he doesn't understand exactly what is really taking place. And besides that, they respect the fact that he is very loved and cared for.
Yeah.
So even though, according to what the media is saying, people still don't look at me that way, especially in my community, and I give God thanks for that.
Yeah, and your son is a very intelligent person, even though he's having a challenge, right? Autistic, he's autistic.
Yes, they diagnosed him with autism at 6 years old.
Oh, 6 years old and not 6 months.
No, they can't diagnose them with it. Before that, it was global development delay, but they changed
Oh,
the name now recently to spectrum autism disorder.
yeah, that's two type. That's one type, but you have the full blown. But what happened is that the child has to be before 2 by 2, so that the child has to be diagnosed with the onset is by 2. Okay, fine. So I understand you. Yeah, cool. That's fine. Tell me though, this thing about traumatic conception. I think what the media was trying to say is that because you were raped, quote unquote rape. I'd use that, but despite the fact I understand what you're saying, right? Because you were should I say molested instead of rape?
It doesn't even matter how you put it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me as I know what the media comes with. So
Okay.
I'm prepared for it.
Yeah, just trying to be aligned with what you
Okay,
say.
I'm
All
okay.
right, fine. Right. Okay. My thing is that how did the experience affect your sense of self, self-esteem, self-worth? Talk to me about that.
Okay. Well, being at my age, as I said, I was practically still a baby. So they consider it rape according to the law. I don't mind anyway how they put it. After a time, at 13 years old now, fast forward, it affected my mother in a way where she started throwing it out on us. I mean, when the
Okay.
stress taker, I could understand. As me, my younger sister, my grandmother, and then a baby to care for, my baby father decided that he ain't going to stick around anymore. I guess because of the stigma that's around it. I guess that's why I emphasize so much with him. I exercise so much compassion. He took away himself. So he migrated to Maple and didn't want me to know where he was, didn't want anything to do with the child, didn't decide to help me with him. So with that now my mom started, she would get upset and talk a whole bunch of things that started wounding me.
Yeah.
That's when now it started having an impact on me based off my mother's words. And I totally understand. So what I decided to do now at 13 years old, I went to school. And when I go to school, my breast would leak and wet up my uniform. And then there are persons from my community that goes to the school that knows about this. So those are some of the stuff that I would have to face. I would be in the guidance counselor office because they would point and they would talk. So it started coming out. So I decided that I'm not going back to school anymore. Come home and I told mommy all that happened. She would go to the woman center for advice and then they would decide to move. But I decided that I am not going back to school. And so with that now, I was talking to a cousin-in-law of mine and she introduced me to massaging center.
Okay.
In the paper and how I could make money, etc., etc. Anyway, I thought about this long and hard, and then I thought about the benefits that would come forth. I know my mommy wouldn't have to stress anymore. I know I could look after my sister, and she probably wouldn't have to end up in this situation. So I decided that okay, then I'm going to go for this.
Okay.
So one day now I tell her that I got to work at a guest house, and she was adamant that I wasn't going anywhere. And I took her card, I took some money from her account, put back her card, and I decided that I am going. So I jumped on a bus and I went, met the person, and then I called her because I didn't have even phone at that time.
Yeah.
And I called her and let her know, well, this is where I'm at and I'm okay. Yes, and she lose it over the phone, but I didn't care. I hung up the phone. All I know is that this is going to put food on the table and you won't have to stress and curse me anymore. And my baby won't have to be hungry anymore. So I decided that was it, and I spent the weekend and came back the Monday. So when I came back the Monday, now I had money. She was still questioning a lot of things, and I would tell her that, listen, it's a guest house, they tip. It wasn't really resting well in her spirit, but I mean, the baby is okay now. I can afford to buy Pampers for him because when I left, he didn't even have Pampers. person.
Yeah.
But she figured out something and she managed to buy what she could and do what she can. Sleepless nights though, because she didn't sure where I was,
Yeah.
what I was doing, or if I would make it back home. So when I came home, I gave her the money and I showed her all of that, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then with that, now I tell her that I have to go back to work. She was still adamant, but she know that if she even force me or try to stop me, I'm just gonna wait until she turn her back and vanish.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it was like a means to an end for you. And is that the whole thing about prostitution?
Yeah, so that's how it is, because anything sex in exchange for anything is prostitution. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
but if you don't really understand the word, you're going to just look at it from one perspective.
Oh
So
yeah. Okay.
most person thinks that you have to be on a street looking a certain way, but no. As long as you're exchanging sexual relation for anything in return, it is
Yeah.
prostitution.
Yeah. I've heard that before. Yeah. I've heard that even in fact, even if you are with a gentleman and you're having
Yep.
sex with him, and yeah, it's yeah, well, I've heard that. But you are very, I know you are very intelligent, and you have to do what you have to do in order to ensure that your son is well fed, and I understand that. And on Canute Exploration, your topic in the podcast, we are still with you, we still love you, and we know that you had to do that, to get things together. But did you keep that a secret?
Yes, I did, of course, until I was 18 years old.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that affected my health. That's where the traumatic experience came from. Having to pretend to be one person, having to lie to whoever I'm working with about my age, having to lie to my mommy, lying to myself, and lying to everybody else. Yes, it took a toll on my health, and then I wasn't really enjoying what was taking place at all. And I didn't even talk to anybody about it to ask for any advice, because I was in such fear. The first time I did it, the first person who was my client, nothing happened, because I'm being honest, I had no passage.
That's
I'm
all
not
right.
even sure how Maurice came through.
Yeah.
So that got him adamant at paying his money and he cannot enjoy himself.
Yeah.
But anyway, his time was up. So when he left, I went inside the bathroom, and I'm telling you honestly, I cried.
Yeah.
I tried tearing off my skin. I locked myself in that bathroom for hours. They would come knocking it down, trying to get me out.
Yeah.
And then when I was in there, and I realized that you can't run from this, you're going to have to deal with it some way, somehow. You came here not knowing that this is what it was about, but I was preparing my mind to do whatever it takes to ensure that my son was okay.
Yeah.
And I grabbed it, I pulled myself together. And I came out and I dried my tears, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes," because I remember not having anything to give him to eat. I remember falling to the ground on my knees, shake up sugar and water, or sometimes just water alone in a bottle.
Yeah.
I remember him not having a pampers to put on, it would be nappy. I remember all of that, and he had gastroenteritis because I couldn't feed him. And with all of that, I get a courage and I get a strength, and I say, you know what, the pain, all the bruises, the blood, everything, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
And I pull it together, and I say, okay, then I'm going to do this, because I see the other girls doing it, so I guess I can do it too.
Yeah.
And I pulled it together, and I continued for that weekend. And that was very traumatic. It was painful.
Yeah.
I can actually talk about it now and not cry about
That's
it.
all right. That's all right. That's all right. I'm with you.
I did my best just not to think about the experience, but to think about the end result. And believe me, that has taken me through this year's worth of that life.
Yeah.
Not thinking about what I'm going through now, but thinking about where I'm going and what I can accomplish from it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we understand. You're listening to Canute Exploration, your topic in the podcast. I am Dr. Canute White. I'm talking to Cassandra Terrelonge. You heard her. She had said to me that, hey, my life is an open book, and I don't think I should pretty up anything. I'm just going to say it like it is. And she has been doing that. Tell me though, Cassandra, this thing about support system. What was your support system like then? I think you had mentioned that it wasn't good, but what was it really like then, and what is it like now?
Then, as I said in my early, it was just mommy. It was mommy and grandma at the house. My sister didn't really understand what was going on because she was just a year younger than I am. So it was mommy and grandma. So when I see the pain in her eyes and I felt all the embarrassment that I brought down on her, she can't walk in the community because everybody know that I'm a baby and they're saying that this is her fault, etc. So I felt responsible for all of that, and I decided that I'm going to ensure that I make sure that this woman is well taken care of because she takes care of me and my son. I'm a little sister. So she was my support system back then. But now, since 2014, when I got saved and converted, at first, when I started out, she was there, but then everything changed. It changed because the money wasn't like that anymore. It was hard. I understand and I empathize with her even now. I still have to take him everywhere I'm going. I wasn't expecting it to be this way, but I understand fully now why God made it the way that it is. Because now I lean not on her, but I learned to lean on not my own understanding, but to trust in God and to know that all I need is within me. If that didn't happen, I would know that I would be able to actually go through this resiliently and come out such courage with such courage and boldness.
I love that. But I'm gonna talk to you more about your spirituality because that is very important in your life, and I mean I'd love to hear my listeners, my viewers would love to hear. But did you go to a psychotherapist? What was your psychotherapy like? What's going on there?
All right. First started out Maurice they have children, what you call it, psychologists. So
Child psychologist.
Child psychologist. So he had to be assessed. So his one was Dr. Samsvan by the University of the Hospital. So while she was there with him in a session, I remember turning to her and I said to her that Dr. Samsvan, I need help. And she smiled. And she said, so I started explaining to her now my whole situation. And she turned to me, she looked at me, she said, Cassandra, nothing is wrong with you. But however, because you asked, I'm going to send you to someone because I only cater to children. This was like in 2013. So I was an adult now. So I said to her that, can't you just see me? She said, I specialize in kids. Anyway, she recommended me to someone. She turned to me, she said, Cassandra, believe me, I've seen other persons gone through what you have gone through and they're not as resilient as you are. There's nothing wrong with you and you're going to make it through. Look at the mother you are to Maurice and he's well taken care of. She recommended me. I called the person, set the appointment, and I went. In the session, I remember Miss Janet said to me that, Cassandra, I'm going to stop you right there. First and second, I understand what you went through, but I don't see where it has any negative impact on you. And I was out there crying like, what are you saying to me, miss? Don't you see that I'm dying slowly but surely inside? All she could see is this glow and this strong, courageous woman pushing past her obstacles. And while I was there talking, she ended up turning to me and said to me that you've inspired me so much to know that all that you've been through, it doesn't define your future and it hasn't broken you in any way. So actually I was there till I ended up taking over the session. So I actually paid her to counsel her. And with that, I decided that, you know what, I'm not going back, because if this is going to be the case, I'm not going back. Then I started seeking out churches. And it would be the same thing.
Okay, I'm gonna move to that church thing after asking you this one question. Then I move to your spirituality. You tell me all about that church thing. I'm talking to Cassandra Terrelonge. She was raped. The rape bring forth a child who is now an inspiration to her, and she's very resilient and continue to move forward. Cassandra, as it relates to the incident, how forgiving are you? How forgiving were you?
For some strange reason, I never have a hate bone in my body for him. I was really disappointed in his reaction when I would reach out to him. It would always cause drama between myself and whoever he's talking to, because they would always be threatened by me based off what information he would give to them. Instead of them encourage him to be a father to his child now, they would always see me as a culprit, and they are willing to pay whatever money and do whatever it takes to get rid of me so that he doesn't take care of his child. But his sister at that time wasn't up with that. She was a no-nonsense person. And I would always turn to him and I said to him that your life will never be better until you be a father to Maurice. And I say, you see that this child that you have rejected and resented is going to be the very child that you'll need. And he'd always say to me that, oh, that's why I'm setting my foundation to ensure that I don't come and be no trouble to no Pitney, and I don't ask any child for anything. Anyway, with that, I said, Tony, listen to me. So it's still not too late. And just ensure that you help me out with it. If it's even $2,000 weekly just to pay for his bus, because he was going to a private institution at this time. And he would tell me yes and give me a whole bunch of arguments, and then when I come up, it would be the same run around again. If I do try to where he's at to find him, I would have to borrow $1,000 for fare. Then when I get there, he would give me $1,500 or $2,000. So I would have to come back, pay the person back them $1,000, and then pay fare out of the other 1,000. So I would practically have nothing less. So I got fed up and frustrated of running behind him because it was making no sense. So guess what? I was back into that life again. Because I tried coming out so many times.
Yeah.
But because of Maurice's medical bills and the expense and me running behind him and not getting any positive result, then I would start thinking of what manner of evil to do to this nigga.
Yeah.
For all that he put me through, and then not even to just help me financially. And I say, you know what, let me transfer all of this anger, all of this rage into something else. And into that life, and then now I was more holding my own. I would say I was comfortable, but I conditioned my mind.
Yeah.
I conditioned my mind, and I tried to see it from a positive perspective, because my child was okay. He started walking, and he was doing all that the doctors said that he wouldn't do. So
Cool.
I forget about him.
Yeah, I love that. He's resilient too. But Cassandra, after all of that, right? The rape, the prostitution, and you're trying to do what you have to do to ensure that your child is well fed and have the basic necessities. You decided, hey, it's time for Christ. It's time for church. What about your spirituality?
After trying so much time to come out of that life, trying going back to school, after one term, I would just give up and ended up back in that life because it was too much to keep up with the medical bills and with school. And then at nights, I would have to be up, and then during the day, I would have to be in class. So it was taking a toll on my health. So I said, I'm going to give up one. And I said, my education can wait, but my son comes first.
Yeah.
So I would always give up the schooling, try going back to nursing school, cosmetology school. Up until 16 years old, I was going to art, and I tried.
Yeah.
I did my best. I managed to complete that one, but I still haven't gone for the certificate as yet. So that has been my dilemma, starting things but not getting the chance to complete it, because I would have to sacrifice one, either my son, comfort and happiness, or I would have to sacrifice my education and take care of him. And I would always do the motherly thing.
Yeah.
I would choose him above anything else.
Right.
So with all of that, now I see that I this is not working out. When you know that you're supposed to be excelling, but something is wrong. So I decided that, maybe it's time I start trying church.
Yeah.
Since as I hear people testimony, and I would hear even girls in that life talk about their encounter with God, and how. So I'm like, oh, God never talked to me yet.
Yeah.
With that now, it spiked a curiosity in me because I wanted to know why is it that nobody ever come up to me and tell me not to do this, or God love me.
Yeah.
So I started out seeking spiritual help, but the mistake, I started out in the wrong place because I started going to like read at people.
Oh.
That's where it started.
Yeah.
And then when I would go to them and they would light the candle and whatever cards would flip over, they would always say to me that you have a bright future. And then they would tell me that I need spiritual help. And I'm like, what the heck? So what am I here for? Spiritual help. And the cards would always point me back to pastor.
Okay.
And then I would kiss my teeth and I say, you know what, maybe this one now work out, so I would go to another one.
Yeah.
And it would be the same thing. I'm telling you how God is mysterious, because each one I would go to would point me back to a pastor. And with that now I say, okay, then you know what, since I'm trying all of these and all they would be taking is just my money. For some reason they would be charging me for bad, charging me for this. And something inside me say, you know what, they cannot help you, because if each one of them keep telling you the same thing over and over again, and they're charging me this arm and leg of money when I want help, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So that my money will stop be leaking out. I say, you know what, with that now, my mom one day, she came home and said that she went to fasting, because my mother used to be a praying woman.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, her prayers kept me. And she was telling me about the service and this prophet and how he was so powerful. And something in me stood at attention and my curiosity spiked again.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, then I'm going to go there. But when I went, it was the wrong day. I went on a Wednesday when the service was on a Tuesday.
Okay.
When I went on Wednesday, we had a little small gathering and a meeting, but it was powerful. But who was there? Something in me wanted to, like in my mind now, I could see myself in chains and shackles. But that person that was praying for me was just not at that level that they could help me to burst free. So I said, okay, then I'm going to be back here next week, Tuesday then. So the Sunday, I attend Sunday service, because believe me, this fire stirred inside my belly.
Yeah.
I wanted something more than this, because every man that I turned to, I would be hurting after. It would be the same thing.
Yeah.
And believe me, I got raped over and over again. So till I don't even talk about it until now.
Yeah.
Because I would choose to talk to older men in the process, thinking that, they would see the need to love me as a daughter and help me. But it wasn't so. They would always have their agenda behind why they would help me.
Yeah.
And they really don't want to help me. So with that now, started down that life, I got deliverance from all these hurts that I was holding inside, all the unforgiveness, all the bitterness. I didn't even know that I was that bitter.
Yeah.
I didn't even know. But when I got deliverance now, it's like my eyes open and I started seeing everything through the eyes of God. And back to my baby father now, I saw him through the eyes of God with so much compassion.
Yeah.
So I had to confront him in 2017 now. And when I found out back where he was and I confronted, he couldn't look at me. I hugged him, I hugged him.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, if a man overall, they don't want to cry.
Yeah.
But he was just there shaking. And he looked at me and he said, you're looking lovely though. And I said, thanks be to God, but there's still hope for you. God wants to love you. He wants to heal you. And he was like, God can't love something like me. You don't know what wickedness me do. And he was just there smoking because he covered his pain under the smoking and the drinking.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not making an excuse for what he did.
No, that's all right.
Or for any person out there who think it's right for a young girl to say no, and you think that this is what they want. But how he was culturated, his brothers taught him that way.
Yeah.
And the girls that he was used to, when they would say no, they actually mean yes. I'm telling you, because he was with a lot of young girls around here, but I was just the youngest. So they would say no when they actually mean yes and would be okay with it. So in his mind, it was okay.
Yeah, and he was 19. He was 19 and you were 10, 11. 11. Okay, right.
But my uncles told him that I was 16, soon to be 17 years old.
Okay, right.
So it's after everything happened now and we started talking, now I learned. I guess that's why I didn't push to lock him up.
Yeah.
Because then I find out that if it wasn't for his brother-in-law and my uncle, maybe none of this would have happened.
Okay.
But I give God thanks for what they did, because what it produced is priceless.
Yeah.
My son.
Yeah. Yeah,
So that is why I don't see it as rape, because he never did it again. In fact, he started talking to only older women. So his girlfriend after my incident would have to be like 30 years and over. So through the eyes of God, now the Holy Spirit showed me that that is his reason. He doesn't come out and say, Cassandra, I'm really sorry and I can't take it back. I don't know, he's not at that level yet. But when you're around him, the way in which he's shaking nervously and he can't look, that I know he's sorry for what he did. And once I find out he's at this address and I would go there, he would run again. So he keeps on running.
Yeah.
To avoid having to deal with me.
Hey, Cassandra, the church though, let's go back there a little, because do you think that the church is actually doing what it should have been doing in relation to an incident like this? You know, are they responding appropriately, adequately, yeah, to the challenges faced by members of the church?
The church is actually the people, you and I,
Yeah,
which come together makes up the church, the body of Christ.
okay.
And the Bible tells us that we put not our trust in any man, which is the pastor, the deacon, etc. But that was some hard lessons for me to learn. However, where a leader fail inside a religious society is when they don't know, they haven't gone through your experience. As I said in the other interview, that some of these leaders, they are still sheltering some members. And some of them hasn't gone through life struggles as rough as I have. So with presenting a testimony such as mine, when the Bible speak about prostitution and how much of a sin it is, and to have this member now come inside the congregation and gone through how much level of deliverance, through their eyes they saw that I still, remember, quote unquote, I don't have any diploma, any degree, I don't have any title behind my name. So to see me now come and wanting to share my story that often, that much with everybody now, they see that I was actually transferred. They thought I was transferring spirits to other persons.
Yeah.
It's funny, you know. I remember during convert class when my convert teacher, because she was also moved by my testimony, when I could finally speak about this freely and not cry about it now, I felt such freedom. I wanted to share with everybody that there's hope. We don't have to be in that life anymore. And she said that, listen, I'm going to put you up and I want you to share your testimony, because this is a big night and a lot of persons there from all religion, all walks of life. But when I wrote, because I love to write. When I write my sermon, and they had to pass it on to the head shepherd and whoever is overseeing. They turned to me and they said to me that this is not the place, the congregation heart is not at this place where they can receive this testimony.
Yeah.
So with that now I was broken and they said that I have to change it, which I obediently and submissively did.
Yeah.
I did, but when I delivered it, like everybody was like, you know, when you're expecting something more to come.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous. And when I came down, I remember one pastor from another church came to me and said, Cassandra, what happened to your testimony? But I mean, they say I shouldn't, and they are the leaders there. So I was just being obedient. And 2 weeks after, the Holy Spirit chastened me and chastised me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't do what the Lord told me to do. I did what they were expecting of me.
Yeah.
And with that, I wasn't pleased. And from then, it's like I became broken all over again. If I decide that I'm going to testify, they wouldn't want to give me the mic. Because they say I'm going to talk about that situation again.
Yeah. That's very strange though. Well, let me not say strange. That's sad, right? And it would have helped someone in the church, because you came out and you talked to a number of persons about it. But there might be this other Cassandra in the congregation who just needs somebody to say something so that she can also say something.
There was.
Yeah.
I'm telling you how mysterious God is. When they stop allowing me to speak on the mic, or if I would testify, somebody would come up after and publicly criticize. And I'm talking, this come from leaders.
Yeah.
How my testimony is not a testimony and I should keep that to myself. But God was preparing me, because where He's about to take me, it's going to come with the calling, the backlash,
Yeah.
the offense. So what He was doing was actually preparing me, because He told me 2 weeks before when I was praying that the persons that He used to shepherd and mentor me will be the same ones that He's going to use to prune and to groom me.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what was going through my head, but when I saw that manifested the Thursday in the fasting service, I said, it makes sense. So with that, now I hear a voice said to me, just worship God. And everybody was, the entire church turned and looked at me. I'm telling you, man of God. If it was back then, I wouldn't go back to a church. But because of what God was doing in me, He prepared me first before He placed me in the fire.
Yeah.
And then He sustained me through it. When the man of God finished preaching and all of that, and he came down, I just hugged him.
Yeah.
I hugged him and nobody could understand it. A lot of prophetess and people started coming up to me, say, Cassandra, I know how it feels, but you have to take the fire because I go through it. And I'm like, but I don't feel anyway, in which I didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt me because God told me that He was going to do this. And the next morning, the person called me and apologized. So I said, what are you apologizing for? God told you to do something. Why are you apologizing?
Yeah.
And he was like, you shouldn't like talk about it while you're going through it. And I said to him, like, if I had a diploma or a degree behind my name and I drove a Benz or a BMW, would you guys mind me sharing my? No, it wouldn't matter. But because I don't have a title behind my name, I shouldn't speak. And he couldn't. I said, I love you anyway. But what the Lord was teaching me is love.
Yeah.
And that's what He did through my son. To love somebody without expecting to get it back in return.
Yeah. You know,
that was a hard lesson to learn.
You know, Cassandra, you are very intelligent. I've been talking to you for a number of days now, and what I am hearing is this intellectual type of person. You know, no, I'm serious. You talk about not being in school since 13 or so. You and I talk about that, but it's hard to believe you're so intelligent. You're so intelligent. You talk about love writing. And it's something I love you to pray about, writing a book on all of this, and also to evangelize.
I've written a book, but it's not completed as yet because of personal reason and the challenges that I'm faced with.
Okay.
And I really don't want to do anything that's going to take away my time and my attention from Maurice.
Yeah.
Because I promised God that if He had delivered me with this child, right, and shame all of who said that he would walk, he wouldn't talk, right? And that's one of the reasons why I think my baby father didn't choose, because they told him that it wasn't his child, and it's because I had intercourse with different men, why he's not walking, so that now I think he's also traumatized, believe me. With that now, when you know as a man in a ghetto community, that stigma, so he just choose to run.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm saying it this way, but I really empathize so much because he have other kids, and I'm telling you, he's a good father to them.
Yeah.
But why he is this way with mine, I sit down and cry about it. I was angry at him. I wanted to do him some wicked, evil things. But the Lord keeps stopping me in my track and telling me that if I ever take him to a courthouse, 3 summons, 3 different times, and it's the one message, I will be interfering with the wrath that God is going to pour out on him.
Yeah.
And I will be getting in his way because karma is a sure thing in life.
Yeah.
And I cried. It was hard, but I had to let go. And when I let that go, I'm telling you, God opened financial doors for this little boy, I'm telling you.
Cool.
It may not be a whole lot, but little is much once God is in it.
Yeah.
Because it does help, it stops a gap. And I'm grateful for that. I don't have to think about him anymore and what he's not doing and what he should be doing. I just start thinking about what I can do with this little much.
Yeah. And you have a great son. How old is he now?
He's 18 the 2nd of September.
Cool. Before I have you talk more about him, I just want you you had said something. I've read it and we talked about it. This vision that you have, it's a very important vision. And it tells me that the adversity that you had gone through, it creates some hope for somebody else. Because with this vision that you have, it will help those mothers, those rape victims to come and even those who have gone already. And those rape victims in Jamaica today, as we talk, who are being raped now, at this second, at this moment, your vision will eventually work for them. Talk to me about the vision that you have.
So this vision of mine is to own a children home, to create a restorative and counselling center for rape victims, especially teenage girls, and to also pre-trained disabled but able persons self-care and life skills. So this vision was derived from my situation, my health experience, and the fact that having a challenged son, the stigma that's around it, and majority of them get lost in the system and left behind. So when I sat and I think about all of that, I decided that this is not going to be my child's reality, right? And because of my stolen childhood, he's not going to go through what I went through. I've already gone through it, so I'm going to pave a way for him, my rest of kids to come, and my generation after now, and for a lot of others out there. In that life, I used to talk to girls, and I would see that we're all coming from the same background. That's why we ended up in that life searching for love some way what. So it's some of them turn to it to deal with the pain. It's easier to know that you're going through this and then get money where you can probably do makeup here and cover all of that. But I didn't want that.
Yeah.
I keep fighting not to want that. I want to know that later on when my son comes up, I don't want anybody to be pointing at him and say, your mother was a prostitute, or, and he have to be holding down his head. I want to know that even when they say it, it will be in a positive, respectful way. That's where I started from, but that's not who I am. And he's not a product of that. So I decided that, listen to me now, all right, my life has changed. I started a business. It's still going through some challenges because it's hard to do things without compromising. It's hard.
Yeah.
But I keep pressing on. And I said, okay, then how is it that I can turn my testimony? I've been talking about it, but people need to see something. What can I do? I've reached out to people, but I want to provide somewhere that when you come broken, confused, lost, and scared, when you enter through that door, and when the Lord finish using me to actually mentor, counsel, or to minister to someone, they leave with hope. They leave with a different mindset. They leave knowing that this is not their fault, and they don't need to beat upon themselves, but they need to learn to forgive themselves. And since the church won't give me that platform, I say, okay, then what can I do? And I've struggled since 2014 to find somewhere. I was in debt. I was in arrears. Couldn't get anywhere. And I just keep going up and down until finally last year, the Lord cleared off my NHT arrears, thanks be to God. And somebody pointed me to this home, this 2-bedroom. I've been praying about it first. I've sowed seed. I've fasted about it, but nothing wouldn't happen. And from the moment they point me to it, the vision became even more clearer. I said that this can be a house, not just a house, but a home for these babies. And then I saw the article of the 12-year-old who got raped.
Oh.
I'm not sure if that's the way it happened. I tried reaching out, but the mother didn't want to communicate with me. And I said, okay, then instead of them aborting these babies without knowing who they might become in society, or having them, and because of the postmortem depression that they go through, and the trauma and the stigma that surrounds it, and then the war that's going on the inside. And when they looked at that child and remember what they were conceived through, they just hurt them, throw them in a rubbish bin. They can just bring them to me or reach out to me, and I'll come to them, collect these babies, love them, grow them. And if in the future they decide that they want to reunite with them, I'm here, and then I will also offer counseling for them.
Love that. But Cassandra, so you are saying your establishment will provide a sort of a home for these kids that are unwanted.
Yes.
And you are also saying, Mommy, if you are being raped, right? If you have a child, maybe not being raped, but you got pregnant and you just didn't want this child, don't go throwing it away. Don't go doing abortion. Bring it to the institution. But you need help to get this institution together. What type of help you need?
Financially. Right now, financially, to secure the deposit for this property, because everything, money answers all things, and it doesn't matter how great my vision is, if I don't have money it won't come to life. So I need financial help in securing the deposit, and then NHT will do the rest.
What are you talking about for the deposit?
Alright, so the Lord has favored me. It was originally $7 million.
Yeah.
But the Lord spoke to the heart of the vendors, and they dropped it to 4 when I shared my vision with them and my struggles. So with the $4 million now, it was to be $422,000 as the deposit. And again, the Lord favored me and spoke to their heart, and they dropped it to $280,000.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, Dr. White, from last year up until now, it has been a hell and high waters. I reached 230.
Oh.
Right? And then to get the other 50, one bill's light bill popping up, everything just keep popping up one after another, and it just take time go right back down.
Yeah. You know, our adversities are not usually for us. I keep saying that. It's for somebody else, because it will bring forth vision. And that clearly what is happening in your case. I love it.
I reached out to a financial institution, but because the business hasn't been registered for 2 years, there's a lot of roadblocks, it's a lot of red flags. At one point, up until even last week, I started questioning myself, and I say, maybe this vision isn't from God, because it can't be from God, and the resources are not coming forth. And then he took me back in the scriptures that every authentic faith will be tested and tried by fire. And if a vision is given to me by God, it is also going to go through adversity.
Yeah.
But I do have a passion for this, believe me.
Yeah.
And I see where if I believe, and this is my belief, like how I believe in my son, if I can change or help to transform one child life, I believe that one child like my son can make a world of difference and transform a million of others' life.
Well said. You're listening to Canute Exploration. Your topic is a podcast. I am Dr. Canute White, speaking to Cassandra Terrelonge out of Spanish Town, Jamaica. She was raped, and she basically go into prostitution to ensure that our son is being fed. But she have a vision, and that vision is to help other rape victims, and also to say to them, hey, don't abort that child. Bring that child to this establishment. We'll take care of the child. And after the child reaches a certain age, if you want the child back, fine. Right? But she wants money. She wants financial assistance in order to get this off the ground. And on the screen, you realize that there is a drawing. Apparently, she starts to do the groundwork. And this already, the drawing and so on. And you saw the property. Those who are listening on your favorite podcast platform might not be able to see this, but she had a drawing there. You start to do the groundwork already. Draftmen give you the sketches and so on. Where the property reach? Talk to us.
It's a two-bedroom living kitchen, bathroom, and a basement. So it just slightly have a little renovation that's needed. I've already gotten the sales agreement. They're just waiting on me to sign it and return it. I've gotten the keys to the property. I've gotten the valuation report. Thanks to some kind, compassionate person, they paid for it in full for me. So I think God is at work. So it's really a miracle to have somebody's property, the documents for it in your hand, and you didn't pay $1. I see this as a miracle, so I'm crying out now because I know everybody they needs money at this point, and it's hard to have somebody sitting and waiting on you based off my faith when somebody else wants to, much other persons come wanting to purchase this property before and after me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to take it for granted and say, okay, then I'm just going to sit and wait, because I don't believe manna is going to fall from the sky for me.
Yeah.
I don't know about anyone, but that has never been my story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always had to fight for it, even though it's mine.
Yeah.
I had to fight to bring that little boy there on hurt ear. And after I brought him on earth, I had to fight every single day up until now to ensure that no negative that anybody speaks over or around his life come to pass.
Yeah.
And I'm prepared to fight for him for the rest of his life to ensure that he become the man God created him to be.
Amen. That property is yours, right? We're going to claim it, and we're going to ask persons listening to Canute Expression, your topic in the podcast, to contribute. Talk to me. Go. You can actually email me at wradio668@gmail.com, or you will see other things flashing across the screen. And in the description of the episode, you will see links that you can get in touch with me, and there's a link there that you can get in touch with Cassandra as well. But if you come through me, I will ensure that Cassandra gets the information and get the help to ensure that her vision comes through. Those of you in the diaspora, Jamaicans in the diaspora, you're listening in Canada, you're listening in the UK, wherever around the world, Germany, we have Jamaicans all over. Touch base, talk to me. I have a foundation, Canute Foundation Inc. You can support Cassandra's venture through Canute Foundation. We can talk more about that if you contact me, and you may contact Cassandra as well. But Cassandra, you're pro-life.
Yes.
I know, right? I hear it. I see it. Why are you pro-life though? Let's go there a bit. Hello?
I'm just thinking how to respond, because at the end of the day, I take no glory for myself, so I don't want to ever fly in the face of God.
Yeah.
So I give him all glory, and I'm only, I can say, productive
Yeah.
because of his grace and his mercy. So I give him all glory. It's because of God's goodness. Only because of him, Canute, Dr. Canute.
Cool.
Because of God.
Yeah. And you think that babies should born, they should come. Know about the baby.
Definitely. And why I can say this, I've never said this out in an interview before, but I'm also a victim of that also.
Okay.
Because after my son, I became pregnant once again, and the traumatic experience that I went through and all of that, I didn't want to go back through that. I didn't want to deprive my son of anything, so I chose the easiest route out, because I remember the suffering that I went through, and believe me, I regret it up until this day.
Yeah.
So I can encourage anyone from a personal perspective, abortion is not the answer. It's going to damage you in the long run. It's worse than having the child, believe me.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and I agree with you. I'm pro-life too. Bring the child. And let me ask you this though. How can anyone, actually support your venture, donate, contribute to your vision? Is there anything that you have set up? Take, for instance, I want to give some money. Somebody, I'd said to person they could come through me, but do you have anything set up?
Yesterday, after thinking about everything, I said, I've never done this before, but faith without work is dead. So I set up a PayPal account. I've never used it before,
Okay.
but I have. And it's my same Cassandra Terrelonge name on that account. However, they can still contact me through Facebook, Cassandra Rush, and I'll pass on more information, or my IG account, Cassandra Anointed.
Okay, that PayPal account. What's the email address on that?
Aliyah344@gmail.com.
You want to spell that out for those persons listening?
So my Aliyah is spelled AALLIYAH at 344@gmail.com. So that's AALLIYAH 344@gmail.com.
And that's the PayPal account. Okay, so those persons who know, you can use that email to get to her PayPal and contribute, and you can use your credit card, your debit card, as you know, guys, those listening and watching, that you can do that through PayPal. Use your credit card, debit card to make contribution through PayPal. That's a good thing, good way to go. But I want you to talk to the girls, right? What's your message to girls? Talk to girls, young Cassandras out there. Not being raped, but they're there. They're there living their girlhood. Yeah? Talk to them.
So for every teenager, young ladies, as I've always said to each and every one I've encountered with, when I sit down and I observe your life, listen, you see your youth, it's priceless. And it's the one thing in life that you will never get back. Don't waste it, right? Appreciate and cherish it, and don't rush to grow up either. Just enjoy being a child and enjoy your childhood. And even if you slip and mess up, there's still hope, right? Brush yourself off and keep on going. Your past doesn't define your future, and keep your head up. If you have a child already, don't feel that child is not a mistake. That child is purpose, and everything happens for a reason. And young ladies, you're priceless work of art in the eyes of God. We are the apple of his eyes. So just see yourself as the queen that he has created us to be. And don't sell yourself short. Don't. Not for any hairstyle, not for any gadgets, not for anything that's going on right now. Just remain focused. Go to school if you have the opportunity to, and make something of yourself. Get to know you first and cherish you and love you like no one else will or no one else can. Self-love is the greatest love. And forgive yourself for the mistakes and the obstacles. 1, and 2, don't ever think yourself too mighty or better than anyone. Humility is the key way to go in life. And with that, you will make it.
Okay.
You will make it.
Okay. Hey, I still like you to talk to some more people, but talk to the rape victims. The rape victims now. And remember, Cassandra, what I want you to understand is that males are also raped, so to speak. I mean, legally raped mean penetration, but they're also sexually abused, quote unquote rape.
I know, and that's the purpose of my foundation, because it's not only to females.
Yeah.
It's for rape victims overall, because I've encountered young males who older women have forced themselves onto them.
Yeah, sexually abused, yeah.
I'm telling you guys, this is not your fault. Don't blame yourself. The first key is forgiveness, and I know it's hard. That's why anybody I talk to, and myself also, the first thing is the Bible. I know most persons don't believe in it, but believe me, it has been my medication throughout the years. And get to know God personally for yourself. This lie that the enemy will put in your head after being raped, that this is your fault, it's a lie. It is a lie. And don't stay in it. Don't keep it in. Try and reach out to some support system, some support group. Don't worry about who's going to laugh at you, but reach out to somebody somewhere, if not me. Reach out. it will help. Just hearing that this is not your fault and knowing that you have support from somebody who has gone through it, it will help. But don't keep it to yourself because it will damage you in the long run. This is not your fault. It isn't. Forgive yourself, brush off, and turn your mess into a powerful message to help somebody else one day. I know it's not easy, it's hard, but it's not impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like to say hello to the Sissoko, the arm of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the police force back in Jamaica. They have been doing a good job as it relates to rape victims and so on. And I also like to say big up to the Restorative Justice Association, whosoever deals with restorative justice, because the next question, next set of people I'd like you to talk to, Cassandra, are those the persons who actually rape, right? Talk to the rapists out there, those who are still rapists, yeah, those who were rapists. I mean, yeah, they have passed through, gone through some other zone, but talk to the rapists.
The first thing I would say is get help. Get help because it's not normal. That is a spirit right there. Everything begins in the spiritual realm first before it manifests in the physical. Just like the rape victims, don't sit down and think that, this is going to go away or you can hide the problem with alcohol or drugs or drinking or no. And it's not normal for somebody to say no and you get a kicks off that. That is a spirit right there. You need spiritual help and deliverance, or else it's going to be to your own detrimental. This is not how you were born, and this is not normal either. Just like the rape victims, we all need help. Reach out and don't be afraid. If you have to pay for counselling, reach out to some agency. Ask information. It's there on the internet. Seek help. Because it will kill you in the long run, or you're going to harm somebody that, well, it will kill you. It comes back to that. But get help. And I'm not here to judge anyone. Thanks God for his heart in me. And I'm not making excuse either. Don't give yourself excuse as to why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Don't make excuse. Deal with the problem. It is not normal, and that is a problem and an issue that you have to deal with personally and collectively in order to get healing, because that's the point that we're all trying to get to, healing.
Right.
So to be raped is not normal, and being the person who is doing it is not normal either. Yeah. Whichever way, we're all human and we need help.
Yeah. Cassandra, I have 3 more questions before I wrap up, because these are very important messages to the persons who you have talked to, and I'm hoping that they hear and understand. And, it's really important for them to understand these things. But I'd like you to talk to me a little about your son. Talk to me about him. I know he's sort of an inspiration to you. Talk a bit about him.
Mr. Genius, I call him that.
Cool.
And why I see him as a genius is because this child from in the womb, he has been a drummer. He specializes in the drumming. But over the years, if you put him around the instruments, he's like he just lose himself in it. And he'll just figure out the correct keys on the piano, on the guitar. He doesn't like the trumpet though. But if you give him any other musical instruments, once he figure out that it's music, he will just lose himself and gone off into playing. So I consider him a genius. You give Maurice any raw materials and he will create some things that has you,
Yeah.
So he's very artistically also. And whatever it is that you sing to him, he memorizes it and then he retains it. That doesn't leave him. It doesn't matter how long it takes. And he's also excellent with numbers. He's very excellent with numbers. He always does well in mathematics. But that child right there, I'm telling you, and he's very smart because I see him himself put me to the test.
Yeah.
And then he waits for my reaction and then he laughs. So I know that that portion of tissue in his brain that they said is gone missing and it wouldn't develop. Oh well, it has. Because I see him excelling each and every single day. He knows self-care. He can cook.
Cool.
He is very neat and tidy. I'm telling you, man, he's such a gentleman. I wouldn't trade his child for the world.
Right. Have you watched Rain Man?
No.
That's a show, Rain Man by Justin Hoffman, I think. He played I think it's Cruz played an autistic man, a child that he actually became a man and still autistic. And you will find out that your son will be a genius in a number of things because of that autism thing that's going on there. So yeah, don't think that autistic children are not brilliant in a lot of other aspects of their life. So you're really having a genius there, and the musical aspect of his life is going to take storm and move on. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love it. I love that. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
And this is why I said to our mothers that don't give up on your child. It doesn't matter how much of a headache they are, what their disability is, what their challenge is. I know it's stressing at times, but do not give up on your child. Fall to your knees, pray for that child non-stop.
Yeah.
Pray for that child non-stop. And don't ever tell your child one thing and let them see you do another.
Yeah.
The first step is practicing what you preach.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell your child not to steal and then you're doing it and they sees it. So you have to practice what you teach. So a child most of the time do not listen, but they look.
Yeah.
But don't give up on your child and be careful of the words that we allow to leave our mouth in anger over them, because it will manifest. A child will become what the most important person in their life thinks of them,
Wow.
which is you and I. So if we tell them daily that, listen, I believe in you and you shall excel, they are going to believe that. If you tell them, say they won't listen, they not come out to anything, they are going to believe that.
Powerful.
And they're going to manifest that.
Powerful. So you're talking to the parents. Love that. Hey, Cassandra, the Murray Studio. I like that name. What goes on in Murray Studio? What goes on there?
Well, for me, it's music because I understand him. But for the ordinary people, it's noise.
Okay. Yeah. And you set up this other studio. What's going on there? Talk to me. Describe Murray Studio.
No, the basement, the foundation, the foundation that I'm establishing now, that I'm trying to secure the deposit for, the basement there is going to be the studio. But where we're temporarily residing now is a family home. He doesn't have the space to do any of that.
Right.
So he will just play music on whatever he catches. So that's why it's noise for the ordinary. But in the studio, what's going to be there, because he has a drum already. Somebody has already donated a drum to him, but it's just for us to go and get it.
Cool.
And somebody has already volunteered to purchase a keyboard for him. It's just the space they're waiting on to come to pass. And once we get the space, then the blessings will come, because God is not going to bless us if we have nowhere to put it.
Cool. Yeah, I love the way you talk. Very positive, and I align myself with your positivity, because I am sure those persons listening to Canute Exploration, your topic in a podcast, will want to donate an instrument to Maurice as well. So this Maurice studio will be a musical studio with all the things, and I'm hoping that you'll invite other artistic children to take part in the studio facility as well eventually.
Definitely. Remember, I said they are the purpose of this vision in the first place, to train them life skills, which music is a part of it, and self-care.
Yeah. Hey, Cassandra, the final question I'd like to ask you. This is sort of, it relates to the rape situation, but looking at it in general, and it relates to incest, fathers abusing daughters, stepfathers abusing daughters, and the other way around, stepmothers abusing stepsons, and so on. And looking at that aspect of things in the home, right? You were raped in a different situation outside, really, after, quote unquote outside, no, after home. But look at it from the the perspective of a family living together and incest taking place in there. Talk to me about that. What advice would you give in that situation?
It's gonna be the same. Get help. Get help once that thought cross your mind, because it starts first in the mind, and you see your daughter in any form of way sexually attracted to her, or you don't, because some person starts abuse because they don't know how to deal with it. So to keep that from manifesting, they tend to resent and reject the child, so it comes out in the form of verbal or physical abuse.
Okay.
Get help. Get help. In this Jamaican culture, we don't believe that, counseling is something that we should do. When you talk about it and you identify a demon, then you know what you're up against and you know how to fight it. But when you don't talk about it, it will stay inside until one day it's going to manifest itself. For female abusing their stepchild, or female abusing or sexually molesting little boys, just to say, it's a spirit and it's sickening. Get help. Talk to somebody about it. Get counseling if you need. And as I say, I'm here. Reach out to me in one way or another. Pass on the information to somebody that you think might need help. Talking about it helps sometimes, so you know how to deal with it. Because majority of persons just don't know how to deal with things, and it's too shameful for them to speak about. Get help. No man is an island.
Yeah.
Identify that spirit and expose it. Everything first begins in the mind, and it manifests itself spiritually first before it comes out in the physical realm.
Yeah.
Kill it from in the spiritual realm, then it won't manifest. And it's going to be a fight still, because if that door has been opened through their childhood, any form, it's going to be a fight. But as I say, it will be hard but not impossible. But don't sit down. Do not sit down and tell yourself that, this has been the way it is passed on down from mommy, grandma, and this is just me. No, it's a lie from the pit of hell.
Yeah.
My mommy started having kids at 14. My grandmother was 13. I had my son at 12. If you understand the trend. And when I saw that and I figured that out, I decided that this is not going to happen to my sister. This is not going to happen to my children or my children's to come. This curse ends with me.
Yeah.
And I decided that I'm going to do whatever it takes, whatever fight, whatever sacrifice to end it. My mother failed to do it, my grandmother. And if you search back further on, it happened to her mother. Because remember, they come from a line of slavery where it was okay for the slave masters to force themselves on them. So it's a curse passed on down to the generations. But who is going to stand up and be the one to say, listen, this ends with me, and a brand new beginning starts with me?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Hey, Cassandra, you have been such a shining light to those who are listening, those who are viewing. Indeed, we haven't done this interview in the traditional way of you being on the screen, but you're on the phone with us, and it's such a delightful uh, episode. I informative, not necessarily entertaining, but reflective sort of an interview. And seriously, it is reflective. And then I really appreciate your transparency. And my listeners, I would think appreciate your transparency and wish you all the best. And I'm open and I'm praying, and I know you're going to pray with me, that members in the diaspora, those who are in Jamaica listening to this, will reach out to you and support this venture, this vision, because it sounds like, well, it doesn't sound like, it is a very interesting and progressive vision, and it will go somewhere, because as you talk about your vision, you transfer that vision of you doing it, of you being successful, into my head, and I'm seeing that as my vision for you. So yeah, I love it.
Glory be to God. And I am thanking thanking everyone in advance who is taking the time out to listen. I thank you, Dr. Canute, for also taking the time out to reach out. And I thank you for this privilege and this opportunity also. I do appreciate in advance all the seeds, all the blessing, all the compassion, all the sacrifice. It will be worthwhile in the long run. And I can guarantee you guys this much. It won't go unrewarded. Amen.
Amen. I know.
Go unrewarded.
I know. With your passion, I know it won't. All right. All right. Take care, Cassandra. We'll talk. I'll give you a call. All right. Thank you.
God bless you all and bless your listeners.
Bye bye. So that was Cassandra Terrelonge on Canute Expiration, your topic in a podcast. She's such an amazing soul, amazing person. She was raped at a young age, and she became a mother at age 11, and she went into prostitution in order to ensure that her child is being taken care of, and that is important. But she did according to her what she has to do to get that done, and she went again into prostitution after believing that things would have worked out, trying hard to put things in place for a child. However, she had gone into Christianity, and she is now in her church. And at age 30, October 2021, not her birth month, but I'm saying that we are broadcasting this in October 2021. That means if you're watching this 10 years down the road, you'll realize that she was 30 at this time, and her son it's a big boy now, 15, going up, right? Going up, and he's autistic, but there's this vision that Cassandra has to ensure that she help rape victims and foster the children, the unwanted children. So she's saying to rape victims and those not necessarily raped but become pregnant for other reasons, and wanted to abort the child. She's saying, hey, don't abort that child. Take it to her institution and her establishment. She will take care of that child, those children for that matter. And if when the child slash children becomes big enough and you think that you're ready to take the child slash children, then you will get them. I know that she's going to have to be working with a number of agencies to get this done eventually. But her start at this point is to get this building. She found the property. She actually started the paperwork. She won some more money to get this off the ground, and she will take anything that you have that can support. Crowdfunding is important. If you think that you can assist her, Canute Exploration is here to help as the middle person. If you go on the link in the description, you will see where actually there's a link for you to support our guest as it relates to getting something done, and you can click on that link and support our guest through the PayPal account. She mentioned her PayPal account as well, and if you get to me, I will be able to give that to you so that you can get it to her through her PayPal account. And it's very important that you try to assist her. I am Canute White, Dr. Canute White. You're listening to Canute Exploration. You can contact me via wradio668 at gmail.com. That's wradio668 at gmail.com. You can send your comments through that. This broadcast, this episode will be on Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify, Audible, and it will be on YouTube. It's on YouTube live as well. So you'll be able to go back and listen to get the information. But this sounds like a very good venture. And out of adversities, I always say, comes good. And our adversities are not for us, but it's for somebody else. No matter what you're going through now, it's not really for you, but one day you'll find out that it's really for somebody else. It's really for a group of persons, but you're being prepared to deal with that. You're being prepared to help, being prepared to assist, being prepared, like Cassandra, to get that vision in order to assist more than you, because your adversities is more than you. It's for a whole lot of other persons in society. So I want you to understand that and support the Cassandra's venture. I am Dr. Canute White. This is Canute Exploration, your topic in the podcast, reminding you that there's still a pandemic. Continue to do the hygiene thing I always say. Wash your hands, keep the social distance, and wear your mask. Take the vaccine. I'm not telling you, I'm suggesting to you, I am encouraging you to take the vaccine. I've done my Pfizer 2 doses, April and May, and I'm still here. Thank God for that. And I at least what it will do is to prevent the 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 virus from being intense as it relates to symptoms. If I got it, if you take the vaccine and you got the virus, then you eventually will be um, mitigated in terms of the symptoms. The symptoms will be mitigated, and the chances that you will die from the virus are very, very slim once you take the vaccine. So do that and take care. We'll talk again. Goodbye.